Well, welcome, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Experts. My name is Hassani, and I'm glad to be joining each and every one of you here tonight. It's at least tonight here in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where our world headquarters is. But we're able to reach out to people all around the world, and we're glad to be, connected to you tonight. Listen, before we get started, we want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Get the message out. Let them know that we're on because they may have a question that's burning on the inside of them and they've been struggling with what do I do and what direction do I go in. Well, tonight's the night for them as well as you to get your answer. So whether you're dating, in a committed courtship, engaged, married, maybe you're separated, maybe you're on the verge of divorce, maybe you just found out about a betrayal that has really shattered your heart, really messed with your mind, and you're looking for a pathway out. This is the opportunity to have a conversation to give you some insight in terms of what your next steps should be. Listen, before we get started, just a couple of quick announcements. This Saturday is the Overcoming Emotional Triggers Masterclass. We've been talking about it all week. The class is filling up. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to connect with all of these couples to really give them techniques. Now, listen, I'm excited because I know what Danielle and I are cooking up for you. You may not know, but we know. And I'm going to tell you, if you get anything from these shows, it pales in comparison to what you will get in a 4-hour deep dive comprehensive teaching within that masterclass. We're not only going to give you information, but walk you through experiences that will allow you to overcome things instantly, quickly. Some things will take place over a period of time, but some things, boom, right here, right now. And so if you haven't registered for that, just know that the link is in the description below. Also, Foundry starts next Tuesday. So for all of those men who are ready to step up, who are ready to be called up to another level, who are ready to be the best husbands and the best fathers that they can be, and just to be good to yourself. Right? You want to join that 12-week program. We meet every Tuesday evening. We have daily accountability calls. We have homework assignments. There are evolutions that we take you through. You come out looking, feeling different than when you first started. So listen, we encourage you to do that as well. But let's jump into these questions, guys. If you have questions, men and women, let's get it. Let's go. All right. First question comes from Rand. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Good evening. My question is in regards to the More Than Words Masterclass. That is a masterclass that we've done in the past, and it's available on the website. Is this an individual, work at your own pace type of course, or is it a group setting? I definitely want to purchase it. Well, it is a previous class that has already happened. It is a 5-hour masterclass. So it was done in a group setting because we had couples all over the world that participated in it, but you can absolutely listen to it or watch it at your own pace because it's so rich with content. Sometimes it takes a little bit to digest. Have you ever just, gone to a restaurant and ate a meal and just scarfed that thing down, right? But you didn't take the time to kind of chew and get the flavor and get the marinade and get it all in. That's what we want you to do. So watching it in one full 4-hour session, yes, it can be done. But if pacing it out makes more sense because you're able to learn, pause, and then implement, that's what we want you to do. So yes, it is available on the website. Please feel free to get that. We put a lot into that. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy says it was an excellent class because Kathy was in that class. So thank you for that confirmation. Listen, guys, we're waiting for your questions. We've been talking about the Enneagram in the morning and really unpacking what these personality types are, how it shows up in your relationship, some of the conflict that takes place when you're dealing with someone who is wired differently than you, thinks differently than you, perceives life differently than you. And these are the ongoing conflicts and struggles that we have to work through and overcome. And so if you're not familiar with that personality pairing, or even if you are, make sure you tune in the mornings because Danielle is doing a phenomenal deep dive into those particular areas. All right, guys, I'm waiting for your questions. That's what Ask the Experts is all about. If you don't have any, then we're just going to end this session early. But if you do, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do it. What I'll do in the meantime is go to a quick commercial break. So check this out, and we'll be right back after this. All right, guys, we're back. You're watching Ask the Experts. We have some questions. Now, remember, I read these things in real time. So if I'm stuttering, mumbling, and fumbling, you know why. I got my glasses on, so I should do a better job today. All right, let's jump in. First of all, Randa says, "Thank you, Hassani. I will definitely purchase it and pace myself. Thank you, Couples Academy staff, for your time and all that you do with this knowledge. We appreciate you. Make sure you get that." All right, here's a question. Explain the difference, or explain Last Chance Weekend versus the Moving Forward program. Great question. The Last Chance Weekend is an experience over the course of 3 days that we have here in Atlanta, Georgia, at our retreat center, where couples fly in, drive in from wherever they may be around the world to experience something where we kind of focus on three things: your marital recovery, your individual recovery, as well as the affair recovery. So in that group setting, we have uh, workshops and instruction that is led out by Danielle, Lakeisha, Jeff, and myself, and very comprehensive information. But then there will be times when we break up into gender groups. So the men will get together in their own group, the women will get together in their own group. It's an opportunity for us to share and connect in a powerful way. Then we'll come back together and get in that group setting. But we do a lot of experiential learning. You're not just coming to be taught by us. Could you imagine being in a session for 12 hours, sitting in a seat taking notes? No, that is not what we do. Throughout the course of each day, there are exercises that we give you. There are journeys, not going to talk about it, that we take you through that are literally transformational. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say on that. And what happens is, throughout the course of those 3 days, you have undivided attention to zone in and to deal with those issues. Working with these couples for 12 hours a day plus is equivalent to 8 months worth of counseling. So for people who don't want to do traditional hourly sessions a week, because imagine, I am in crisis right now. I can't wait 8 months to get to a final destination. I need results and I need them now. So these are for couples who are in crisis, those on the verge of divorce, those just in a negative, distant, just empty place, those who have experience of betrayal and are trying to figure out how to navigate through this. That is who we work with. And so many people will call and say, I think our situation is just so different. I don't know if you address it, or if we're a good fit for this particular audience or for this particular experience. And it's interesting because so many people feel that way, yet there are so many other couples who are going through what they're going through. We are Couples Academy, not Marriage Academy. So while we do have married couples who attend, we also have non-married members who attend. And I think that's important to understand. And so that is the Last Chance Weekend. People come with no hope and leave with hope. They come from a place of desperation and leave with inspiration. You're not just getting information, but impartation to begin to implement things in your life that will result in not only your personal transformation, but your marital restoration. So that is what that particular event is about. It is phenomenal. Is probably one of the flagship programs that we have outside of our private marriage intensive. So I would encourage you to really go to the website, find out more about it, sign up today. The next Last Chance Weekend is March the 11th through the 13th, and we're excited about it. We already have a few couples who have signed up. We got room for more. So be that one to make a difference for your life and for your marriage. Then the Moving Forward program. I'm glad this question is asked because someone just reached out to me from the UK asking, can they join the Moving Forward program? And the reality is, you can only join the Moving Forward program if you've been a part of another event, an experience, a program, a counseling process that we've already taken you through. So if you've gone to a Last Chance Weekend, if you've done a private marriage intensive, if you've gone through our process through individual or couples counseling, that qualifies you for the Moving Forward program. Okay, it is a group program where many people who have come in through different avenues and paths, who have gone through our journey and our process, are then ready for that. Because the reality is, you know what? You got to get back home. You got to get back to life. You got to get back to normalcy. But unfortunately, what has been normal has been unhealthy. And so we take a journey with you for a period of time where we virtually hold your hand and guide you through a moving forward process after you've experienced an incredible transformation in your relationship at that last chance weekend. So it's like the step two to the first step. So the first step is counseling or last chance weekend or private marriage intensive, and then the second step is the moving forward program. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you for asking that question for clarity. I think I got another question. Okay, Monica, what if after an affair, you and your spouse decide to reconcile, go through separate and individual counseling with a trained specialist, and you are no longer interested in being in the relationship? Well, you went through a process. The process is, listen, when people are vacillating back and forth as to what they should do, should I stay? Should I go? I'm not sure. Well, we say rather than making the decision, while you are soaked and saturated in feelings and emotions, because heart says one thing, mind says another thing, spirit says something else. I'm experiencing something in my physical body, and I got all these confused, directions, and I don't know what to do. And when I don't know what to do, I do nothing. So we say rather than making a decision in that space, make no decision at all. That's the best decision that you could ever make, is to make no decision and allow the journey we take you through to make that decision, to help make that decision for you, because it'll be a balance of the heart and mind. You have accountability, you have insight from a trained specialist. Now, if you said specialist, are they an infidelity recovery specialist? Do they deal with transformation after betrayal? Do they know how to deal with the unique situation you're going through? The biggest mistake people make is going to the wrong people seeking the right information. And if you've gone through that process, and now the other thing is this, people say, well, will this thing work? It will work if you work it. Okay. If you are working what has been given to you, if you're following the therapist's advice, if you're doing the techniques and the exercises and establishing rituals and building connection with you and your spouse, overwhelmingly 98-99% of the time, people have so much hope and inspiration and encouragement for the future because they're seeing change in real time. And that oftentimes puts them on a path of a phenomenal future together. But maybe this experience has really revealed and confirmed. Now, there are some people who have gone through counseling with many therapists, and they've come to the place where they said, you know what? It's just not for me. I've seen what I needed to see. It's confirmed certain things that I always felt were true. And boom, I went through the process, and this is the result I've come to. And so, listen, the reality is divorce happens. 50% of all marriages still end in divorce. Many of them have done counseling and done therapy and have done processes. My question is, have you gone through our process? And the reason why I'm asking that is because we take a uniquely different approach. We combine counseling and coaching, and we have a number of different modalities than what you would traditionally get with therapists that really are impactful, that take you through a journey that produce results in real time. So hopefully, I'm addressing your concern. But I would say if you're at the place where you're like, this is still not for me, I would encourage you to try a last chance weekend. It can make a difference for you. All right. Where we at? Okay, here we go. Mario, what information should be revealed during disclosure about the affair partner if they are a person who gets paid? Let me read that question again. What information should be revealed during disclosure about the affair partner if they are a person who gets? I don't understand the question. If you could rewrite the question, if somebody can help me out, I'm just not getting that. I'm sure it makes sense, but I'm average at best. So if you could rewrite that, I would appreciate that. Okay, here we go. Evan says, will intimacy return after infidelity? He is testing abnormal levels and not really looking the same sex with me the same. Any advice? Okay, another one. Let me reread this. Will intimacy return after infidelity? I get that part. He is, I'm sorry, treating, testing abnormal levels and not really looking the same sex with him the same. Rewrite your question. Sorry, guys. Will intimacy return after infidelity? Yes, it can. Absolutely. And we take you on a path to restoring intimacy. Now, when we say intimacy, understand there's three components: there's spiritual intimacy, there's emotional intimacy, there's intellectual intimacy, and there's sexual intimacy. And when you are connected in all four areas, you have oneness. So we would need to figure out where the intimacy is broken in your relationship. And once we've identified it, we have a pathway to help you restore it. Okay, Jose, what's your advice? I'm currently separated from my wife due to a recent incident where I chose to search for a date while I was away or on a business trip. What is your advice? Sign up for Last Chance Weekend or some counseling sessions. Listen, listen. Of course, I'm going to promote what we do because I stand behind our process. But if not us, find someone who can guide you through. Obviously, there's been a breach of trust. Okay, the fact that you're seeking out dates while away and you're in a marital relationship is a significant betrayal. Now, some would say, well, it's not like anything happened. It's not like we had sex. But the fact that you would even go on websites, it's inappropriate for someone who's in a covenant relationship with another person. So, whether there was physical interaction or not, you would have to go through a similar process because it is a form of betrayal. Infidelity is a form of betrayal, okay? But there are other types of betrayals, and this is exactly what this was. And so continue to tune into our show where we can answer your questions. Watch these episodes with your wife to get some insight. When you've reached a place where you're like, you know what, I think we need a little bit more help, get it. This is a phenomenal book that I always recommend, and it's Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass. And it is a phenomenal book, this thick. But it's a phenomenal book that talks about the recovery process and what you need to do to get through it. All right, we got another question from Jay. My husband cheated on me twice with the same woman. It was once in 2008 for a few months, and then went back to her in 2017 till 2021. I just found out about it 3 months ago. We are trying to. Okay, we have 2 children and been married. Is this the same person? No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. Okay, something's happening here. Okay, I'm sorry. This is real time. We are trying to, here we go, fix us and are doing the work. I do love him very much, but I just feel like I will never trust him fully again. What can I do to help me heal and really give him my all? I'm scared he will hurt me. Your fear and your being scared that he will do it again is natural. It's a natural reaction that anyone would have when a person has gone back to the same person for years. You have every reason to not trust. You have every reason to have fear and anxiety, though you love him and you want to work it out. Listen, there's a video that we have on YouTube, and it's entitled, "You Will Cheat Again Unless You Do These 6 Things." Yes, you have your personal healing to do, right? To heal your heart, to heal your mind, and to begin to believe and trust again. But you have to have something to believe and trust in, which means that your husband has to go on a journey of personal growth and self-development. And in that video, we talk about all of the 6 things. I'm going to mention a few of them. One of them, obviously, would be couples counseling, because there has been a death that has occurred, or a loss, or you're grieving the loss of what you thought was in your relationship. So couples counseling is essential, but then he has to work with someone individually to dig deep into the why. Okay, because if he doesn't understand the why that he keeps going back, then there's a high possibility that it can happen again. Then there are support groups, right, where he has other peers who have been in the same space, who are on a path, right, of personal growth and self-development, becoming the best versions of themselves. And this is an example of positive peer pressure, others that can hold him accountable, others that he can relate to because they've been on a similar dark place, and now they're on a journey together. So that's critically important. Spiritual transformation, getting back to God. If this is a person of faith, sometimes when we go down these dark paths, it's because there's been a spiritual disconnect and detachment that needs to be reestablished. And so those are some of the 6 things. And so both of you have work to do. I would encourage you to reach out to us. Let's figure out how we can help you through. We have this masterclass this Saturday, Overcoming Emotional Triggers. I would highly recommend that you participate in it because I think it's going to help you in an amazing way. All right, Tamika, I'm reading this in real time. Context. We have been married for 20 years, no children. So this would be his first child. I'm trying to understand his feelings, but he's not understanding mine, the hurt, the humiliation, etc. So when you say his first child, I'm assuming it's from an affair. Okay. And you're trying to understand his feelings, but he's not understanding mine. Okay. So what we're dealing with is communication here, right? Both of you are seeing things, from your own perspective, and justifiably so. I get it, but a part of communication is understanding. It's taking the time to understand. It's seeking to understand first, then to be understood. And so, in order to do that, we've got to create space and time for each of you to take the lead and to deal with your issues. What happens is couples get into a tit for tat war where they're fighting with each other over each other's perspective, giving them no space and time to really unpack things. And so this is why a third party coming in, navigating and facilitating that conversation can be tremendously helpful. Once again, the more than words 5-hour masterclass on communication really gives you some techniques to help you to begin to understand each other's perspective. But you two absolutely have work to do, and I would encourage you to do that. Kathy says, Hassani is the very best help for you. He is the expert. Okay, Couples Academy really cares about restoring marriages. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate you. You have a heart for Couples Academy, and we have a heart for you. Okay, Jose, let me go back to that. Jose says, we have 2 children and been married 16 years. It's not my first time, but it's been over 11 years since something like this has occurred. Okay. Oh, okay. So prior to, what is the, okay, that's a continuation. Okay, guys, because what's happening is these comments are coming in scattered. So I didn't realize it was a part 2 to that part 1. But in essence, it was about the advice that I would give him. All right, guys. These are some great questions. I hope that I was able to give you some answers. If there's any more questions, let them roll right on through. But in essence, guys, I'm hearing a pattern in these questions, not just tonight, but every single night that we have this call. The question is how. It's a how-to question. How do I this? How do I that? And the reality is you don't know the how. Tuning into this show daily will help to give you the how. Reading materials will help give you the how. Going to counseling will help give you the how. Doing an intensive will help you understand the how. But knowing the how is irrelevant if you don't know your why for your how. Knowing the how is irrelevant if you don't know your why for your how. Meaning your why has to be big, it has to be strong, it has to be clear. It's got to be on the top, the forefront of your mind if you're even going to attempt the how. Because to be quite honest with you, many people just want to know for the sake of knowing. Okay, but aren't willing to do the work. Many people aren't willing to do it. And if you don't have a strong why for the how will seem too much. It don't take all of that. The how will even seem impossible. The how will discourage you because you don't have a strong why. But when you have a strong why, the how is just like, okay, no big deal. Let's get it. Let's do it. I'm on it. I'm about it. And you are committed to the process, no matter how difficult or challenging it will be, because your why is driving you. So you've got to tap into your why in order for this thing to make sense. All right. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you, giving you a few nuggets of information and inspiration that will help you on your journey. But for those who need a deeper dive into an answer, for those of you who are looking for a particular journey, we encourage you to reach out to us. This is who we are. This is what we're here for. We are committed to marriage. Just like Kathy said, we are committed to the restoration of marriages. And the reason why we have a passion for this is because we were one of those couples who were struggling. We were ready to throw in the towel, call it quits, give up. But it was, if it weren't for God, If it weren't for a desire within us, when we didn't know the how, trust and believe we were no better than you are. Okay. It's not like we just have it all together, that we just naturally came together and we were a match made in heaven and everything flowed. Absolutely not. Our passion for what we do was birthed out of our pain. Okay. And so we know that you can make it and you can overcome because we were able to overmake it and we are continuing to overcome. And so we want to take as many people with us to the promised land as we possibly can, because there is a future for your marriage and we want you to experience it. All right, last question, and then we're going to let go. This is from Michelle. Is it normal to be fearful after a divorce due to infidelity? Of course. Of course, it's natural. Now, I don't know if you are divorced, if you're considering divorce, but oftentimes the fear is of the unknown. Like, oh my God, I've been married for all this time, and now because of an infidelity, I feel like I need to break away and end the marriage. But there's a fear, there's a trepidation, there's an anxiety about what that even looks like if I'm not there yet. Some people think that, divorce is a pathway to healing and a pathway to happiness. It is not. Some people think that, oh, it's going to be great on the other side. Well, not necessarily unless you do some work. But some people fear it because they're like, oh my God, I'm a certain age. My finances are in a certain place. I have X amount of children. What will life be like on my own? I've been with my partner for so long. We've become one. It's almost like a divorce is like cutting my arm and my leg off and leaving it on the ground and moving forward. But I've got a part of me still on the ground over here. How can I function? How can I manage? So these are legitimate fears. Okay, you are divorced. Okay, I don't know how long you've been divorced, but yes, fear is a legitimate concern. We all have fear. We all do. If I were to ask you, what are your deepest fears? Not just you, Michelle, but all of you. I'm sure all of you could give me a few fears that have either driven you to do things or have stopped you in your tracks. See, fear drives you to do or keeps you from doing because there's a fear wall up and you're not willing to look over that wall, get beyond that wall. Fear keeps you trapped in your reality. So when we begin to unpack those fears, because fears are based upon a deeply embedded belief system that's governing how you see the world and what you do. And your belief system is the one thing that is getting you in trouble. I say this all the time. The first letter in belief is what? B. The first letter in system is what? S. Your belief system is nothing but BS. Because if it's creating that fear, then we've got to what? We've got to uproot those negative beliefs and get them out the way, replace them with positive, healthy beliefs that will help you to turn that fear into faith. And all of a sudden, you're in a better place today. 9 years, Michelle. Maybe you need some individual counseling. If it's been 9 years since you've been divorced and you're still grappling with fear, reach out to us. Let's see how we can help you to get you to a place of healing. But gentlemen, ladies, that is our show. I appreciate you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow night for another great episode of Ask the Expert.